Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing this macro photography lighting kit that Adaptalux have kindly sent out to me. And as a disclaimer, this video isn't sponsored, so I can share my honest thoughts and opinions on this product. In the box they sent me, I have 3 of their pod minis, 4 light arms, 5 of these diffusion attachments, and some cables to charge the pod minis. And they also threw in 2 of these background cards, which is quite nice because I do like to use those for photographing bugs. A single pod mini costs £66, a single lighting arm costs £49.49, and a single diffusion attachment costs £14.99. You can buy all these parts individually, or you can build a custom pack to save 15% on your order. There's also 15% off preset bundles, such as the Nature Pod Mini Combo Pack I have here. And altogether, the pack they sent out to me costs £400. I like to shoot out in the field with very portable and lightweight equipment, and the pod minis are perfect for that. To use them, you simply put the lighting arm into the pod mini and the light should turn on automatically at 50% brightness. The diffusion attachments simply magnetize onto the end of your lighting arms, making it very easy to use. The lighting arms can be bent in many different shapes and forms, making it very easy to photograph things in awkward spots. You can also unscrew this cap on the end of the lighting arm, and that will narrow the light and make it more focused on your subject. To increase the brightness, you simply hold the plus button, and to decrease the brightness, you simply hold the minus button. The lighting arm will flash if you reach 0% brightness or 100% brightness. If you want to go even brighter than 100%, you can go into boost mode. To activate boost mode, you simply press the plus and minus button at the same time. This will obviously make the battery drain faster, so I don't use this if you really need to. To deactivate boost mode, you do the same and press the plus and the minus button at the same time. There's also a strobe mode. To activate strobe mode, you press and hold the plus and minus button at the same time for about 2 seconds. And to deactivate strobe mode, you can simply press the minus or plus button and that should take you out of it. The pod minis are charged via USB-C, and I would recommend taking the light arm out before you start charging the pod mini. Pod minis can be stacked with a push fit feature. Well, this is a cool idea. They don't really stick together very well. So I wouldn't recommend sticking them together if you're mounting on a tripod, because it will likely fall apart and probably get damaged by falling on the floor. The pod minis are actually a smaller version of the control pod that Adaptalux also sell. The control pod has 5 ports, but each port can't be moved around separately, whereas the minis are single ports and can be moved around wherever you like. Now we've run through all the features, let's get out there in the field and take some photos. I just found a log that's absolutely covered in mushrooms, so what I'm going to do is have a search across the log and find one that is quite nice to photograph. So what I've done here is set up one of the minis to have a diffuser on the end of it, and that's pointing more or less directly at the mushroom to sort of just add some light. And then I've got another one at the back without a diffuser on that's giving the subject a bit of edge light, which makes it stand out from the background a bit more. So I'm going to press the shutter to start my bracket, and I'll press it again once I've got enough images. That's enough shots. Hit the shutter again, and there we are. I've just found a couple decent looking mushrooms on this mossy stump here, and I think I'm going to photograph the one at the back because it looks a little bit better. It's standing up straight and I can get the trees in the background really nicely. So yeah, let's photograph that one. The cool thing about the pod minis is that they can just fit in your pocket. I've even got the actual light tubes in my pocket as well. I brought out a couple tripods to screw these onto. However, the mushroom is that low to the ground. I think I can just rest the light tube on the ground like that, and that should do. I'm going to start off with one of the lights behind the mushroom, and that's going to give a sort of edge light to the mushroom, which will make it pop from the background. You can unscrew the cap on the end of this, and because I'm trying to get an edge light around the edge of the mushroom, this should work a lot better by doing this. I'm quite liking how the shot looks already with the backlight alone. However, I'll throw in another light with a diffuser and see what that looks like. So I'm going to keep it on quite a low setting, and that's just adding a tiny bit of light to fill in some of those shadows. I think I've got everything set up now, so I'm going to press the shutter button to start my focus bracket, and it shouldn't take too long. That's enough images, so press the shutter again, and there we are. I quite like how there's a circle of light in the background, and that was behind the mushroom. That's sort of what I was going for. I've just found a mushroom growing out the mossy root of this tree, and these shots are usually quite hard to isolate subject, so I think using a light will make it a lot easier. I've got 3 pod minis out with me today, and one of them's died already after one photo, so I've put that in my backpack and that's charging with my portable charger. I feel like they could make it a lot bigger because it's already tiny, like it doesn't need to be this small really. I think it could have a beefier battery, to be honest. Jamie from the future here. Before I went out and started taking photos, I thought that when you charged the pod mini and it started flashing green, that meant it was fully charged. Obviously, I'm an idiot and I didn't read the manual properly before I went out. So yeah, all my pod minis weren't fully charged when I was out in the field. But now I know that when you're charging it, it has to be solid green for it to be fully charged. So yeah, that's why my pod minis kept on dying when I was out taking photos. The battery is actually quite good and should last quite long. But yeah, let's go back to taking photos. Again, because this is low to the ground, I don't think I need to put these on tripods. I think I can just get away with maneuvering them like this. So we'll see what we can come up with here. I think I want to light the underside of the mushroom and maybe get one coming down as well. I don't want that light to spill onto the background and stuff, so I'm just going to loosen this, which will make the light narrower and more focused. And then that means it will just be hitting the mushroom then. If you spin it all the way, the cap will come off, so just got to be careful not to spin it too far. The overall exposure in the image seemed quite flat, so what I'm doing is increasing my shutter speed to underexpose the natural light, and then I'm increasing the power of this light here, so the mushroom is lit up and then the whole scene around it is dark, which will create a lot of nice contrast. I think my other light's died now, but to be honest, for this shot I don't think I need it. It's more of a one light job. I think I'm pretty happy with the shot now, so I'm going to hit the shutter to start my focus bracket. I'll hit it again once I've got enough images, which looks about now. So there we are. I'm not shooting very magnified for a lot of these shots, so the focus brackets are very quick. I just found some weird fungusy thing, I'm not too sure what it is. And there's no signal out here, so I can't check with Google Lens. So if I find out later, I'll put it up on screen now. But if not, you'll have to let me know down in the comments. This subject is quite high up, so I think I'm going to put the pod minis on a little tripod. I've got this little Manfrotto tripod which I've had for years, and this Gorilla Pod as well, which I've also had for years, and I've never actually used it until recently because I don't know, I'm not really a fan of Gorilla Pods. As you can see, it probably would be better if the battery was bigger because it's leaning forward, because this tube light thing is heavier than the actual battery that it's connected to. I've got both my lights in place now, so I'm going to increase the brightness on both of them and see what that looks like. I want most of the light to be illuminating the back of the subject and not the front. Settings for this shot, I'm going to be using f5.6, ISO 200, and then my shutter speed comes out to 1/40 with these lights on. So let's press the shutter to start the bracket, and it shouldn't take too long. That's looking like enough images there, so we'll hit the shutter again. There we are, it's quite a nice image. I just found two little white mushrooms growing out the side of this tree, and you can't really see from this angle, but on the other side they're a bit broken, which I think makes it really interesting. So yeah, let's see how we can set up these lights. It's quite high up, so it might be a bit difficult, but I think we'll make it work. One of the good things about these lights is that they have flexible arms that can point in pretty much any direction. So I thought this would be quite difficult to set up, but I've literally just placed it down and it seems to be working perfectly fine. I might need to point it more this way. It casts kind of a shadow on the other mushroom and it's like a harsh line, but if I bring it a bit more forward, that goes away and both stems of the mushrooms are lit up evenly. I'm not really a fan of super black backgrounds, so I've turned down the brightness on the light a little bit so I can lower my shutter speed and get a little bit more light in the background, a little bit more colour in the background. My exposure and everything is looking good now, so I'm going to press the shutter to start my focus bracket, and I'll press it again about now to end the focus bracket. I'm really happy with that shot. I haven't found a mushroom that photogenic in quite a while. A lot of them are just kind of growing out the ground and look all soggy and boring. I'm back in the studio and I'm now going to give my final thoughts on the Adaptalux Pod Minis. Before filming this video, the only other light I'd use similar to this is a cube light like this one here. And I've never really seen anything like the Pod Minis on the market. They're a very unique product and they work very well for macro photography. I think the build quality is quite cheap. It seems to be made mostly of plastic and it's very light. I was a bit worried about damaging the Pod Minis when shooting out in the field because, as you can see here, my cube light is very metallic and doesn't really have any cracks and entry points for water to get in, whereas this is made of plastic and it seems like it has quite a lot of entry points for water to get in. But shooting indoors, you shouldn't have to worry at all about damaging your Pod Minis. Talking of shooting indoors, I mainly shot with these outdoors because that's the sort of macro photography I like to do usually. But I did do a little test indoors using all 3 Pod Minis and 3 different coloured lighting arms. The reason I didn't use the coloured lighting arms when out in the field is because I just prefer a natural look to my images when shooting stuff like mushrooms and fungi. But using the coloured lighting arms to photograph this figurine indoors worked really well. I don't usually photograph toys, but if you're someone that likes doing that sort of photography, then these lights are perfect. Another thing that makes these lights feel cheap is that when you're bending the lighting arms, they tend to flicker a little bit. This isn't a big deal though, because when you stop bending the arms, the light stops flickering, which is when you're going to be taking a photo anyway. I do feel like these lights are a bit expensive, but again, they're quite a unique product and I haven't seen similar sort of things on the market. And I'm pretty sure Adaptalux are quite a small team, so it'd be quite hard to make these really affordable. To summarize, the pod mini pack that Adaptalux sent out to me is great and I think I would love to add it to my equipment and keep using it. At first, I thought Adaptalux products were strictly for studio work, but they're great to use out in the field as well. So if you're a macro photographer that shoots indoors or outdoors, I would highly recommend the Pod Minis. I'll leave a link in the description to the Pod Mini combo pack that I used in today's video, and that link will be an affiliate link, so if you buy through that link, then I will get a small commission at no extra cost for you, which will help support the channel. But with that said and done, I'm going to end today's video here, so if you've enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.